ॐ भैरवाय नमः। ॐ हिङ्गुलाम्बिकाय नमः। ॐ कामाख्याय नमः। ॐ कालकालाय विद्महे कालातीताय धीमहि तन्नः कालभैरवः प्रचोदयात्। Namaskaram. So, welcome to yet another video on Guru Bhairava, our Ishtartha Bhairava. Today, I thought actually I would come out with the second part of our Tryambaka Bhairava. The reason is very simple. I was really deeply touched by the overwhelming of response as well as emails which I received from last couple of days. Like almost many of the questions are pointing towards the mythological facts. So I thought actually I would come and share you about the mythological facts. How exactly Tryambaka Bhairava has changed the way what we see from the prospect of the devotion as well as a truly inspiring connection from the Tantra Sadhana perspective. So today we will talk about considering there is a two of the stories which we will talk about today, which we will try to explore. Okay, two sacred stories. Trust me, actually, even when I happened to go through this stories, I was so blessed out that actually how beautifully our Ishtartha Guru Bhairava is connected to so many aspects of it. So especially in Shaiva Tantra, so about Tryambaka Bhairava, the first story whatever we is being articulated on the highest level is about Rishi Atri. I maybe actually I'll talk about the Rishi Atri in detail, who exactly he was, how exactly he's been instrumental for this entire spiritual landscape. This is one of the lost in pride. This particular story is lost in the pride, where because through the divine Farsi form of the fire of the Bhairava, mm, like rekinded the true tapas of the Atri Maharushi was been unlocked. The second story connected to um, Bharadwaja, Rishi Bharadwaja, who sorted a sacred fires only to find the true form of his silent guidance from the Guru Bhairava perspective, from a Trayambaka Bhairava perspective. Today, these stories actually will light up you to know what exactly the stories are all connected and how exactly these greatest sages were able to connect to Trayambaka Bhairava perspective. So let me share with you the powerful and the mystical story. One of that, not just a other story or a mythological story what we hear it. Here there is an essence which we as a from a Bhairava consciousness perspective we need to understand what exactly this particular story is trying to tell us. Like it is like a mirror for each of us, like a sadhaka or upasaka who truly walks or wishes to walk to the path of the inner fire and the awakening of Guru Bhairava. How exactly Bhairava is connected to all the creation, the cosmos, as well as the beautiful narration stories which are being articulated in the mythological events. But before that, hope you all know about Sapta Rishis. Like you, most of them would be knowing it. Sapta Rishis are the seven sages, the greatest sages who are being trained, governed, and guided by Adi Shiva. We call him as Adishwara, Adi Yogi. He can be called in different names, but Parama Shiva in the Adi Bhairava perspective, he was able to give this seven sages, a beautiful ingredients. Like even if you talk about from a Vedic perspective, even today, when we do any kind of a rituals, we normally tell that it is a Rishi Runa, Pitru Runa, the Daiva Runa. Daiva Runa can actually is somewhat like the deeds. Okay, what as a human being, when we come into this existence, these are the three deeds which we are supposed to perform and make sure that before we go to the next realm, these three need to be offered back to them. Daiva Runa is somewhat like he has created so many things for us. The five elements, whatever we are enjoying around us today, it may be the technology, it may be the people around us, it may be the actually the situation around us, and entire creation itself is created by the Daiva. And his Runa, I mean to say like how exactly we can, whatever he has done to us, will not be able to give him back. But how we can give him back? By spending certain time to dedicate this particular self to him and taking his name every day in the Brahmi Murta, or before you go to the bed, taking his name, rejuvenating his name, energizing this self, because this piece of body is actually gifted by him. So that is where actually the Daiva um, can be Runa can be, we can actually minimize those Runa into our life. When it comes to Rishi Runa, see, this is what we need to know. There are Sapta Rishis. Each Rishi, like in Sanatana Dharma, each Sapta Rishis actually were born from the mind of the Brahma, the eternal seers of the Vedic wisdom, whatever we have today on date, on the entire Sanatana landscape perspective, the entire Vedas were being created by these seven rishis, and they were able to articulate what exactly is important for what stages. It may be all the four Vedas, okay, Upanishads, all these things actually were the gift of Sapta Rishis. So Rishi Runa is very, very important. How Rishi Runa can be? Normally, Rishi Runa is somewhat like whenever you do any kind of a sadhana, whenever you do any kind of a homa, whenever you do any kind of a yajna, whenever you do any kind of a puja, nitya puja, normally we take the Rishi, which ancestor or which lineage we belong to. So that is the reason always it has been said your lineage information is very, very essential. It is somewhat like a DNA of your existence. We tell that actually which is your gotra. So gotra is nothing but which lineage you are coming from. So that's how, by taking their name, doing the particular rituals, we as a Sanatanis will be able to dissolve the Rishi Runa. Next come Pitru Runa. Trust me, Pitru Runa cannot be cleansed, or we cannot complete at all, because the parents whoever made us to come into this existence, we cannot actually give them back anything. Even in Veda it is very clearly been articulated, even if we tear apart the skin and make them a pair of sandals and make them to wear, even if you do that, still you will not be able to give back them whatever they have given back to you. They may have given a lot of time to you on their entire their youth life. They have given to their kids their entire time, to the kids, their entire happiness to the kids. The half of whatever they get it, they actually pour back to the kids. Maybe um, we, us, or you being a young generation, you will not be getting to know, but once you become a parent, you will get to know about how beautifully the existence, the parenthood they have created us. So always parent, recognizing them, doing their karya, if they are not available, doing their karya, always remembering them, and always doing the nitya puja sadhana, and remembering them that actually today whatever I have been able to do, it's all because of your good deeds you have done in your in your life. This is what actually the pitru runa is about. It may be pinda pradhana. Normally in the pinda pradhana we do it, but when it comes to all these runas, the the foremost actually is rishi runa, because you need to know, as I told you, It is a DNA of our existence. So Sapta Rishis are the initial, they are the main creators. Like we can call it as, even in a DNA, if you know, it again, if you go into the science, it is actually the chromosomes. So basically, the particular belt, the DNA belt which has been created in the chromosomes, the structure which has been created, this structure actually has been created by the Sapta Rishis. They are the mind born of Brahma. So, but they are enlightened by Adi Guru, Adi Shiva, Adi Parama Shiva, Adi Yogi. So basically, you would be knowing all the Sapta Rishis. So just to reiterate, Atri, Maharishi Atri, Maharishi Bhrugu, Maharishi Kutsa. He is also been called as Gautama. He is also called as an Angirasa in some of the list. The fourth is Vashishta, Maharishi Vashishta. The fifth is Pulasya, Mahapulasya, Maharishi Pulasya. The sixth is Pulaha, the Maharishi Pulaha. The seventh is actually Kruta, Katru. We can call it as Katru also. Some of the scriptures or the the Vedic stories have called them into a different names, but Rishi Atri is called the first Rishi. So today, in the Triguna Bhairava perspective, we are going to talk about the first Rishi. It doesn't mean that actually we are going to talk about all the 7 Rishis, but this story, this particular Tryambaka Bhairava, is connected to the Rishi Atri. He is one of the, it is not like first, second, third, or the stages of the Saptarishis. All the Saptarishis are very, very important. Or we can call it as each, when Brahma created, began the creations, he made sure that actually each individual need to take care of one particular responsibility. Those responsibility was articulated, designed, structured, architectured by Saptarishis. These rishis were the foundation seers of the entire Vedic knowledge, and even the spiritual truth, whatever we talk. Even if I want to tell into an existence, whatever we have it today, enjoying all the existence, it may be even a simple to simple, a technology like going from one destination to other destination. Like it may be like the aeroplane. Even the aeroplane, it is very beautifully been articulated in the Vedas, but we as a people do not know how to read this. It is being said like Veda one, it is like 112 prasangas. Each prasanga will take almost like 7 lifetimes to even master it. Then just try to understand how much lifetime we needed to master all those. So 8 stages of understanding that layer, the Saptarishis, what they have created, the stages to understand this spiritual library. It's not so easy. The spiritual vibration, what they have created, it's not so easy. So each Saptarushi, specific spiritual vibration they created. So Atri, so Maharishi Atri, for his association, he was actually the master or the governor of a tapasya, the spiritual authority. See, austerity is somewhat like spiritual austerity is somewhat like a condition of living without unnecessary things, or without comfort, or with a limited, to put it into a practical word, like with a limited money or a goods, or we can also call it as a practice habit. So this is like a experiencing that is a typical of this silence and the inner vision is what thought tapasya, spiritual austerity, was actually taught by Maharishi Atri. So Atri's name itself comes from 2 words, a and tri. A is not. A means in Sanskrita it is not. Tri means same English. As you know, like Sanskrita is actually the mother of all the language. Tri is nothing but the 3. Okay. The meaning he is beyond the 3 gunas, because Saptarishis were given the title of just below to the Bhagavanta. Bhagavan, it is somewhat like Shiva, Parama Shiva, Vishnu as well as a Brahma. Just below to them, there was a next stage which was been created to the Sapta Rishis. And here Atri is called as not the three gunas, Sattav, Rajas, and Tamas. He is regarded as a greatest seer who translated duality, and many of the hymns of the Rig Veda are attributed to him. Entire Rig Veda is actually been articulated. Many of this articulation is been transcended duality, whatever we have it, is actually being the core of the Rig Veda. In a deeper spiritual symbolism, or we can call it as in a deeper spiritual sense, Atri represents a pure consciousness. Atri is representing the pure consciousness in the spiritual realm. Okay, but this story below is whatever we are going to share or know or understand today is about his ego, how his ego was burned and he became a pure consciousness. This is what we are going to learn today. So, but before talking about Atri or this particular story, let me also tell. Hope you know that actually Atri Maharishi's wife, many of them actually who are in the spiritual sadhana, they would be knowing this connectivity. Atri Maharishi's wife was Anasuya, Ma Anasuya, who was Devi Anasuya, who has been called as Devi Anasuya also. See, Devi Anasuya is like, we can call it as, she is a very spiritual power. She had a very great spiritual power. And in many traditions, she is also called as in Shakti herself, the inner strength and the energy of the Rishi Muhamunis, even Sapta Rishis, even Atris. His strength and Shakti was none other than Ma Anasuya. She is also a greatest tapaswini. I can call it as like a very power of influence, divine force. Through her devotion, she was able to get all the devatas into her. And there are certain beautiful stories where actually Ma Atri actually is the mother of all the mother of Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwar. How? She is a mother of Dattatreya Swami. Dattatreya, I believe you would be knowing three heads. It is the three heads are representing the Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara. The composite incarnation of these three Tridevas was Dattatreya Maharishi. Dattatreya Swami is maybe actually that would be again a different topic to talk about. And here, when Dattatreya Swami was born, the intense penance and the divine grace actually was able to get it. The symbol of a perfect yogini. Undated, if you want to, someone wants to talk about Matre, she is one of them. And the whatever we call it as, her devotion was so potent, like that is to transform Tryambaka Bhairava in the Farsi form into the Shiva, into the minor, into a judgment but awaken way. She was able to get this into that path. In many esoteric stories or esoteric traditions, especially the Tantra and the Shakti path, Anasuya Ma is seen as a Dwarapalaka, similar to the Bhairava. She is also seen as a gatekeeper of the higher wisdom. She is being considered as Brahmakali. She is also considered as wisdom of Brahmakali, not the Brahmakali, wisdom of the Brahmakali. Her inner divine form, or we can call it her concept, like Brahmakali's concept. Actually, we heard about in the last video about Brahmakali is none other than Bhuvaneshwari, the Tryambaka Bhairava. For the knowledge of Brahmakali, the gatekeeper was Anusuyama. Who is this Anasuya? I am trying to talk about more. Pativrate. Maybe you have heard about this word. There are 9 Pativrates as the Sanatana. The 9 Pativrates are Sati, Ma Sati, Ma Parvati, Ma Anasuya, the wife of Rishi Atri, as we are going to talk today. Ma Sita, Mata Sita, the wife of Lord Brahma, Lord Rama. Ma Sita, actually, to talk about Ma Sita is much more in deeper connection. She is connected in all the Swarupas. She She's also called Brahmini. She's also called as mother of Brahma. That is the reason I was able to go and tell mother of Brahma. She was also told, and wife of Maryada Purusha, Sri Rama, Ma Savitri. You would be knowing it, Savitri, wife of Satyavan, Ma Damayantri, Nala Damayanti, the beautiful story which most of us would be knowing it. Ma Arundhati, the wife of Rishi Vasishtha Maharshi. Thus, in Sapta Rishis, she is one among them, Arundhati Ma. Next is about the greatest, same connected to the Rama, Ma Mandhodari, wife of Ravana. She is the seventh Pativrate, called as in seventh Pativrate. The eighth is Ma Tara, the wife of Vali. In the Ramayana, Vali would be coming in. In Ma Tara is actually his wife. And the last is Ma Rukmini, the wife of Lord Krishna Bhagavan, Kalika. So all his Swarupas. So now let's go into the particular topic about the storyline. How exactly Rishi Atri, Maharishi Atri was able to connect to the Tryambaka Bhairava. See, it is all about in the mythological way. It has been said this is the Aruna Kala. Aruna Kala is actually a time unknown time. It's like Satya Yuga. Above than that, there is something called as an Aruna Yuga, Aruna Kala, the sacred substellar hour before entire creation was being created. The what we call it as like between the seen and unseen of thinnest, the world even then actually was going through a spiritual collapse at that time, because that was a time of creation. Even the time of creation, you know that actually when we do any kind of a creation, there will be a lot of flaws. So this particular stage was Arunakala, the great sage, one pillar of the silence and the discipline and the inner realization had begun to draft. Sapta Rishis, Rishi. Okay, they still perform their rituals. All the Sapta Rishis were trying to perform the rituals to create to create the creations, because the creator has already told them and they are trying to create the creations. But now for truth or to transformation, indeed they sorted a flame, the flame of fame, recognition, as well as in they were actually sorting the spiritual superstitious energy. So at that given point of time, this beautiful story actually came into existence. Atri Mas, Rishi Atri's wife, Devi Anasuya Ma, was a deeper inner strength and the divinity purity. She was a greatest ma. As I told you, she is a Pativrate. She was being entitled, tagged with Pativrate. In entire cosmos, these are the 9 females who are being called as an Pativrate. None other than these 9 females. Okay. To come back, saw what was happening. She did not blame the creation. What the Saptarishis was trying to create, and Atri Maharishi was trying to create in tapasya, where he was not able to create in a particular stance. She did not blame, scold, or argue with her husband. She turned that entire source where a creation can be created. She folded her hands in the prayer to the Parama Shiva, asking that the three-eyed one please bless the creator. Here the creator, I'm in the context, I'm talking from Saptarishi perspective. She requested Paramashiva as Mahadeva, please send forth some mercy, some energy, some spiritual connection that will burn away his illusion. His illusion, Atri, Rishi Atri's illusion that actually he is trying to create something. The ego is activated, and the awakening in his husband that he is trying to create something. The soul back into the true tapasya was lost. So she asked Paramashiva to come and help us. And the Shiva, Paramashiva, Pujya Shiva, he came actually not as like a form, not with thunder, not with rage, When Ma called him, these were the power of Prativratas. Even whenever they called, entire Daiva Loka used to come and stand in front of them. That was a power of Prativratas. And Ma Anasuya was so powerful that she was blessed to call entire Tridevas to her. She was a mother to entire Tridevas. You may have heard about the story also. Many of the stories wherein Dattatreya story is very beautifully been articulated. It has been said that actually in this particular situation, when Parama Shiva came here, he activated his Agnya Chakra, similar to Bhairava Guna. Whenever we talk about Bhairava consciousness, it's all about Agnya Chakra. We tell that actually it is the seat of the divine. It is a seat of a divine vision and the inner fire. Unless Agnya Chakra is being activated, as a sadhakas will not be able to go into the next stage at all. So here those stories also connected in the similar way. Like when Paramashiva activated his Agnya Chakra, the blinding flame exploded. From the fire emerged a luminous energy was being created, so intense and so energetic that the air around him trembled. Actually, the trembling is none other than our Tryambaka Bhairava. We have already spoken in past video, but here it is a creator's creation. This was the way our Guru Tryambaka Bhairava came into existence, the form of none other than Parama Shiva. From his third blazing eyes, Tryambaka Bhairava came into existence, and each one burning with insight, destruction, and cosmic silence was been created, because he was not with a rage. Here, he was from the silence. But the Bhairava here actually, when Tryambaka Bhairava came into an existence, when the Tryambaka Bhairava was being actively active, he did not shout. As normally, if you have seen, it may be in Batuka Bhairava or it may be Kala Bhairava, they came with the energy of thunders. They screamed, shouted, they energized the creation. But here it is in a different way. He did not raise the weapon. Okay, he did not curse, or he did not actually curse like chopping off the Brahma's head. No, he stood still. He did not even uttered a single word before the Rishi Atri, because Ma Anasuya has called. So he has come now. So wherein Atri Maharishi, when he saw the Bhairava, he gazed he gazed him, their eyes met. When they gazed each other, those three eyes of Tryambaka Bhairava did not look at his body, they looked into him. The into him is somewhat like what type of ego he is trying to carry, how exactly his thoughts are there. Um, this particular gaze actually, he pierced into his thoughts, his we can call it as his forgotten vows, what he is supposed to do. He has come to here to help to the creator to do a creation. And what Atri saw was something different. He was able to see the reflected back to him, not the world, but his own inner shadow, the pride, the fear, the ego, which was actually troubling him to create the creation. See, that is the reason when it comes to the Tryambaka Bhairava, he has not been done a puja in an external form. He is a Atmalinga. This is what actually he was able to see. He was able to see himself. He was overwhelmed and stripped bare by the truth of Bhairava's gaze. He was able to know that why exactly he has come here. Just by the glance, the gaze of the Tryambaka Bhairava, he was able to know why he has come here. Immediately, Maharishi Atri collapsed at the feet of Guru Bhairava, Tryambaka Bhairava, and when he fell on his feet, Bhairava did not do anything. He did not speak also. But from his third eye, Listen this very carefully. When Bhairava saw this particular episode, when Atri has fallen on his leg, asking to pardon him and make him to know about the awareness of it, the conscious awareness of it, Bhairava did not react. He did not do anything. But from his third eye, a single tear fell. A single tear fell, and the tear of emotion, a tear of divine fire, a, a tear of divine entity, the divine connection of Shiva Tattva, Bhairava Tattva. The tear fell into the Atris on the Sahasrara. It is said that once it fell on his Sahasrara, he was able to take the tear into his heart, Anahata, and there it ignited the true flame of spiritual practice. Why he has come here, what is the core reason, why and how he need to get connected to make the help the creators to do a creation. This is said that the fire did not burn Atri's body. When it fell onto the Agnya Chakra of the Maharishi Atri, he was not actually, it was not a fire. Okay, it did not burn him, but it burnt, yes, it burnt not his body, it burnt his ahankara, his ego. What was lost was not the man, but the man wearing the mask. I believe you all will agree with me. We all actually do that. When someone actually is in front of us, the third person is front of us, we always activate this mask. We think that actually we are trying to do something. I am trying to do something. I am your master. I am your guru. No, we are not. That is ahankara. Bhairava will come and he will ensure that this ahankara is removed, because he is a guru tattva. Entire guru tattva, the creation of the creator, he's been from the guru tattva of Guru Bhairava. From that day onwards, coming back to the story, from that day onwards, Maharishi Atri completely changed. He began the new sadhana. Every creation actually starts with the sadhana. That is the reason I always tell, sadhana is a gateway to the connection to the Bhairava. A sacred practice of, we can call it as Krita, was being practiced, where he would gaze the flame each morning and draw the energy of Guru Bhairava Tattva into him and focus on his inner fire, what exactly the creator is said to him and how exactly the creation need to be helped on. Invoking the Tryambaka Bhairava into his Agnya Chakra, he was able to get into know that what exactly, how exactly, and why exactly he has come here. And here we need to understand the teaching here, whatever we have learned, okay, it is very, very vital for us as a sadhakas, because here our Guru Bhairava did not destroy the man, he destroyed the mask. He destroyed the mask of Sapta Rishis, Pratama Rishi, Maharishi Atri. He awakened him. He turned not the man, but he turned the illusion into the action. And that is why Guru Bhairava, the Bhairava consciousness, does not, for all of us on this path, he only comes to us with his grace, his wish, his will. Even I always tell in many of the videos, even if you are seeing this video, it is not by accidental. It is his wish and will, you are able to see this. Here, Guru Tattva, Bhairava Tattva, Tryambaka Bhairava, he stood in silence. Not to actually scream on someone or to actually scold on someone or to chop off someone's head. No. But to reflect the truth we hide even in our oneself. This is why Bhairava Guna, Bhairava Tattva, Bhairava consciousness is very, very essential today in this sadhana paddhati, because he will make you aware who you are, why you are here. The greatest question of the humankind, everyone should know, is who am I? This question can be answered only with the help of Guru Bhairava. And let through this sacred reflection of the story, transform the beginning of ourself, not with a noise, what we have done, how we have done, why we are doing, I am trying to, no, not this noise, but the stillness to aware, to know the Bhairava Tattva inside us, the Atma Linga in us, knowing the purest consciousness as why we have come to this existence, and what is my action or my role to play in this creation. This is what actually as a sadhakas we need to understand. And let the story live in our heart in such a way that it will always remind us that even when we stray, grace is never far. And when the fire of the Bhairava touches us, it is never the harm, but to the purity. Because many of them, Sadhakata come and tell, when I did the Bhairava sadhana, I'm facing all this negativity in my life. When the fire of the Bhairava touches you, it is never the harm, it is a purity. Your Atma is getting connected to the Jivatma. So that is the grace of Guru Bhairava. So the second story, we'll talk about the second story. The second story is also very, very beautifully been articulated. The silence of the Rishi, Bharadwaja. See, Bharadwaja, again, you need to understand, this is also in one of the yugas, same like Aruna Yuga. This is one of yuga, okay? It is like into the highest Himalayan realms. Let's consider this, because in the beautiful mythological way that it is being explained, is it is very beautifully said that how this yuga was being started, where another great seeker of the similar to the Atri Maharishi. See, Atri is Sapta Rishis. Below to them, all the other Rishis will come into picture. In that lineage, the Rishi Bharadwaja was there. See, Bharadwaja was immersed in the intense penance. He was in that particular stage to do his penance and try to understand the Shiva Tattva inside him. This particular Rishi or a sage was not seeking any kind of a wealth nor fame or any siddhis. See, we need to understand, when we try to connect with the Jivatma, the Atmalinga, you forget about what you want, the wealth, your name and fame. Most of them in the sadhana paddhati today, they talk about the Daiva Tattva, but they are trying to grasp the fame into their particular surroundings. No. And siddhis, they think that actually after doing this, I'm going to gain something, I'll be able to achieve something. Not at all. Sadhana is everything about losing yourself. If you are ready to actually experience the Shiva Tattva. Shiva Tattva is none other than losing yourself. This is what even the Bharadwaja did. He was seeking the fire, not the fire we see, the flame as something which burns this body or burns this entire creation surrounding us. The burning of inner ego. But there are three primordial fires, we can call it as. Maybe actually I'll try to touch on this particular aspect. What are substance of all this creation? According to the Vedas, we have three Agnis. It is called Suryagni. Okay, Suryagni is somewhat like a solar fire, the purifying karmas. Even it is said, whenever you feel low of energy, go and stand in the Surya, in front of the sun, where his rays actually will create such a vibration around this particular body, like actually it will cleanse us. That cleansing is nothing but actually Surya Agni, the solar fire that purifies the karma. Vibhuti Agni, it is like, or it can also be called as Vidyut Agni. Vidyut Agni or Vibhuti Agni. Vibhuti is somewhat like ashes. Lightning, after lightning, the fire, ashes will come into. Vidyut Agni is like a lightning fire that awakens the conscious into the flash of this particular life. Next is Jataragni, the digestion fire that transform the desire into the spiritual fuel. See, these are the three Agnis which we are supposed to know, and these are the three Agni which even Bharadwaja was trying to take into his life. Bharadwaja sat in silence. He was hidden deep into the Himalaya. He folded, meditated, prayed, cried, called for everything, fast and did everything to get Shiva Tattva, Shiva Guna in front of him to get achieve of this particular self. But despite his sincere efforts, you know that actually this is common in all the mythological events. God will always test us, break us, but never leave us. This is what happened. The knowledge he sought remained just out of the reach. And here he lies the profound truth. The Vedas whispered in him. It may be Sapta Rishis also, but Vedas whispered him, only one who has ever burned the desire of the knowledge. Many truly see the fire. Many of them will tell, I want to know this, I want to know that. Knowledge of Jnanagni is there, but Jnanagni, it will also get burnt. This is what actually the particular Veda was able to teach him, that his teaching broke something into the Bharadwaja. He realized that he was still wanting. When you are in a wanting or wanting a wisdom, even that which is a sacred and that realm of Bhairava Tattva, even that this longing will actually make you apart, distance from you as well as Shiva Tattva. So he resolved, let his body die in the silence if the truth will not be revealed itself. This is what actually he took the oath. My body will die in this. I am not going to take oath. He turned into a mauna. See, that is the reason I always tell in the sadhana paddhati, you as a sadhakas need to always ensure that you need to do mauna sadhana. Mauna sadhana doesn't mean that actually without talking for days. Fix certain times, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours in a day. Make sure that actually you don't talk. It will make you to make sure that actually your chakra energies actually will be more aligned, and the woe of the total silence, not just speaking, but the mind and the ego actually will get settled. This is what actually even Bharadwaja was did it. He entered into the mauna, and the mauna was not the mauna as what we speak. He went into mauna for 21 nights, the deepest stillness. Something like extraordinary happened in his life. Sadhana, when it comes to why we tell 21 days, 48 days, 54 days, 108 days, it has its own importance. In 21st day, the the dark, the in the darkest night, the brightest light suddenly folded on that cave when where he was trying to do the meditation or doing the tapas. That's where our Guru Bhairava came into a picture. Bhairava, Shiva as a Bhairava Swarupa, as Tryambaka Bhairava, with a radiant energy, with his third eye was flaming. The energy, the each eye hold one of the sacred fire for the Bharadwaja has so longing for. Bhairava spoke, but his words were like a thunder here. Like the thunder was like Bhairava, the Triguna Bhairava told that you have searched towards your inner flame. You were trying to search for the inner flame, and that is the reason I have come here to show you what is that inner flame. But these three fires living within you, you have that three fires within you, not from the external. It is within you, and water, it is own Trinetra. That is the reason Shiva and Bhairava are called Trinetras, because they make us clear that devotion, the godliness, the Shiva Tattva is not outside, it is the inner yourself. That is none other than your third eye, Agnya Chakra. Stop seeking outside, burn within. Burning outside, doing the penance, doing the fasting for a couple of days. Yes, it is needed to cleanse this body, not to cleanse the mind and ego. To cleanse this mind and ego, you have to ensure that you do a sadhana from inside. The fire need to be from inside, not from the outside. And with that particular instant, Bhairava thought to Bharadwaja that why you are stuck into this, in this practical world, as you wanting something, it is inside you. Bhairava struck the earth with the trishula. You know the trishula, the the cave shock, and the uh, it is not externally, it is like inner cave of a light appeared behind the his connection, and he was able to know the perfect stillness. That stillness made him to know what is Shiva Tattva, what is Parama Shiva Tattva, what is Bhairava consciousness. He was able to know Bhairava Tattva into it. Bharadwaja entered into a new meditation. It is a new sadhana. When he silence is actually a meditation. Greatest many great sages, including today's greatest Rishi, greatest masters, meditation masters, are teaching us how this meditation need to be done. Unless you entered inside, external activities will not work. This time, with no desire, no question, no demand, he just gazed upon his third flame, his third eye, and he's leaving Devata, Triguna Bhairava, Trinetra Bhairava. That's where actually he was able to focus, and each one related to the secret to transfer his flame. As I told earlier, the sun flame, like Surya Agni, as it purifies the karma, it also washed away his lifetime of residual imprint to know something. The second fire of Vidyut Agni, as the lightning fire, it created a illusion and a single instant where awakening his inner high was being activated. The third was Jataragni, digestion flame, to consume everything. I want to know this, I want to know that, I want to know this. All that remaining desire came to an end, not to the superstitious, by the transformation. Bhairava, only by his Trishula, he struck inside him and made sure that all this, his inner stillness was being activated. He remained in that silence for 12 years. That is the reason when it comes to the sadhana, it is minimum 12 years. Once you do a penance or the sadhana for the 12 years, you will be one among the grace, one among the support, one among the nurture of the Daiva himself. Never one speaks about the word. The 12 years actually made him such a stillness that he emerged not as a sage with a spirit, which a scriptures or a mantras, what he told, but as one only holding a single mudra, a gesture of Trinetra, representing the awakening of the third eye. From then onwards, Rishi Bharadwaja became the silent teacher, the Agnya Vidya. He was actually the guru of Agnya Vidya, the sacred wisdom of a third eye that pass on through the words to the next lineage. That is the reason, unless you know about the importance of Agnya, chakra balancing is very, very essential. But once as a sadhaka, you start doing your 144 days of a sadhana, automatically your chakras will get balanced. You will get to know, and that is the beautiful way. People, especially who are doing the Tritiya Charana, I always tell, like when they are in the stage of a Tritiya Charana, it is not about rolling the Rudraksha or doing the Nama Japa. It is about more focusing onto the third eye, activating the Agnya Vidya to activate this. Without a single word, the greatest sage Bharadwaja became a greatest gift to this humankind. Here, we as a sadhakas, what the story is trying to tell us, we need to understand this. See, we need to realize that these stories are not just some mythological stories. This is the story of our Guru Bhairava. This is the story of our Bhairava consciousness, where we are trying to know the Guru Tattva, Bhairava Tattva into ourselves. These teachings come to a point where seeking must ease. Okay, we you as we, okay, we as a seekers, you as a seekers need to know, stop desiring of knowing, and burn must begin. The Agni must burn everything. Your deepest wisdom is not given, it is revealed. And this revealed only through the silence. And silence will happen once actually you end your questions. And that can only happen when you are completely surrendered to the Guru Tattva, the Guru and the Guru Tattva inside him, who is trying to teach the entire creation. Here, Guru Bhairava is trying to teach us all these things. And the Tryambaka Bhairava Swarupa is not just the deity, is not some distance realm of Daiva which we normally do a Nitya Puja. No, he is inside us, not as a guardian. He is the our inner fire, the one who is waiting very patiently in our own stillness, the igniting transformation. He is waiting there. When you are truly ready to receive this tattva, he is ready to disclose. He does not comes with a lecture talking about particular, speaking about. I always tell, even in the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra, the series, whatever we are doing in our Telegram group, always I tell, make the sadhakas in the group to remember that reading this is not going to change you. He does not comes with a lecture, he comes with a flame. Try to understand the flame. Practice the flame. Practice the Bhairava Guna into you. The silence in the Tryambaka Bhairava perspective. Practice the silence. Here both the stories of Maharishi Atri and the Rishi Bharadwaja are the mirror for us, to show that it is not the pride of the Atri teaches us. It is not about the pride. Burning away pride is very essential. Ego is very essential. I know something. I know I can do everything, anything. I am trying to do something. His grace. Bharadwaja, he clearly showed us that burning away the hunger for the knowing, that's where there is a stage open up, that enlightening itself will open the doorway. And in this both the stories, the key is the same, the silence. It's a watchful, it's a blazing purpose of Guru Bhairava, Tryambaka Bhairava, the ultimate yogi who destroyed every thing which is making us to stop to connect with him, the minor of our souls getting merged to him. This is what actually we need to know. These stories are very beautifully been articulated in in a mythological way, where it is a blessings to us to know about it. But you as a sadhakas, as we as a sadhakas, as we as a upasakas of a Bhairava consciousness, we may be thinking like, how this is connected to the Tantra, how it has been connected. See, in Tantra, as I always tell, Yantra and Mantra will make you the practice of the Tantra. Similar to here, the two stories connected through the profound understanding. The understanding in the Tantra, in the Astalok, this is one of the essence. The silence and the fire is actually the essence of the Tantra. Here, Rishi Atri represents the burning away the ahankara, which is very, very essential as a sadhaka, what we need to know. In the Tantra sadhana, this is very, very essential. And the Rishi Bharadwaja, he represented, or he raised the jnana, wisdom, to the highest level. Not to know something, but with his grace he was able to know. Both were awakened not by spoken by words. Both got awakened not by teaching or listening something, or listening to someone who was trying to teach, trying to teach completely about, and there is no end for it. Telling only I am the guru, you are my shishya, and I'm trying to teach you something. I have a shishya group. One of my shishya is trying to tell, and one of the shishya is, the real sages will never speak. The real sages will make you to experience. Try to understand, it's the mercy of the silence which Tryambaka Bhairava, the ultimate yogi, was able to teach us. It is this particular Tryambaka Bhairava, being a greatest yogi, he taught us that in a moment, igniting the tapas through the profound inner reflection will make you to connect to the Shiva Tattva. And the Shiva Tattva, the Atma Linga, get connected to you, and that's where the Atma, the Bhairava Guna, the Bhairava consciousness, you will be able to activate. And this is just not merely a story which has been articulated or to be known to every one of us. This is a living practice, as each of we as a sadhakas need to practice silence being our foundation. See, maybe you have experienced this, you may be knowing this. People who are having multiple thought process, the tremendous thoughts and emotions will be running in their mind, and they really don't know what they are trying to do unless this particular train stops, unless actually you get to know about what and why we are here. The greatest question which I have told earlier, who am I? This will only open up when you are in a silence, and that silence can only be practiced, not been taught. Even if you read or listen to the lecture or hear to one of the who is trying to teach you something from ages together and trying to tell that actually I will change you everything, you may really not know anything unless you are ready. And that can only happen when his grace will actually be with us, and he is able to support us to know him through this particular limited body and experience where we get connected to him. And that can happen only with by the grace, and that grace is what actually we should wish for. And even the liberation, that is also greatest ego, what we think that I want to get into the liberation. Don't be into that diluted mode, and not even have thought that actually by knowing this I am going to know something great. All we are speaking in all these videos, most of you have already experienced, you would be knowing that, but you need to know such that you need to practice this, and this practice only happens when you do the sadhana, and the sadhana is the foundation. The 144 days will actually transform your way of your thinking and your being, and three mandala, the 144 days will transform your thoughts. The bullet, or the stream of thoughts will pass down. You will get to know about the Bhairava Guna in yourself. You will get to know about Bhairava Tattva into yourself, and you will be able to know about how he is able to bless us as we are trying to experience him. Maybe with that note, I will try to conclude this video, as this is the request. I bow down to the people who have asked this request to share this information to me, such that I was able to, with his grace, we were able to understand this particular information. Om Bhairavaya Namaha. Om Hingulambikaya Namaha. Om Kamakyaya Namaha. Om Hingule Parama Hingule Amrutarupini Tanu Shakti Mana Shive Shri Hingulaya Namaha. Namaskaram.